Hey everyone, I'm Bryant, also known as Pickleball Bryant. Welcome to the channel. So glad you're here. A lot of you know me in the world for pickleball tips and coaching and best practices. And here in the YouTube channel, the goal is going to go slightly beyond just pickleball. It's going to go more into a little bit more about me, my journeys thus far, up to date, and really the three pillars of my life, which are faith, fatherhood, and pickleball. Faith is it's everything to me. It's where I gain. Faith is where I get my strength. Fatherhood is what gives me my purpose, and pickleball is my passion and it's my outlet. And together, the three of those things make me who I am. Yeah. So, can you tell us how faith has helped you navigate the toughest moments in your life? Yeah, faith has always been a part of my life. Very thankful that my parents raised me in the faith from a very young age. Had wonderful parents who set an example, but like as anything in life, it has to come into your own at the right time and just living life. And so not long ago, about 5 years ago, I hit some very tumultuous times, to say the least. I lost my mom and became a single dad in the same year. And at that time, I literally felt like the floor was just swept from under me, and I was just absolutely lost. I was very close with my mom. Was going through a very tough time in my marriage, wasn't married long, and had to find the strength to show up and be the dad that I wanted to be and need to be for my daughter. And so when life was, so during those times, I didn't have much to cling to other than the foundation of faith. And it's funny how, God works, and he works in very mysterious ways. And it's like, why would a good father who loves us so much make us suffer and do things that are painful? But a mentor shared with me, Bryant, he's a good father, and he sometimes wants us to remember how much we need him. And it's in those times when we're just at rock bottom or just struggling to put one foot in front of the next that helps us remember that, the only way through this sometimes is to completely surrender and to relinquish the control that we're trying to have. And that's what I was always trying to do, is like, how do I control this situation? How do I move this forward? How do I move the needle forward? And when life just flips you upside down, it humbles you, and sometimes there's no other place to go other than for me, it was God. And for others, I know it could be something else, whatever it is. And so a huge part of my journey now is just trying to show up as the example I need to be for my daughter, and how I show up in interacting with others and with folks on the pickleball court. Want to show folks that there is, no matter how dark times are, there's hope, and to be a light, and there's always a way forward. Absolutely. In my darkest times, when I was grieving the loss of my mom, going through, a tough separation, I was a new father, trying to navigate, parenthood, navigating it on my own. Faith was everything, because there were many months where I didn't even want to get out of bed. I was super depressed and was thankful for some great folks in my life. But even then, like, when you're going through such difficult times, it feels like you're so alone and no one understands. And it was in those moments that I would just enter prayer and just, for me, just have that conversation with God and be like, do you hear me? Am I seen? Like, why am I going through this? And there was no like epiphany type moment, or no like splitting of the seas where they're like, wow, like I heard, here's the answer. But there was always a sense of peace that I had when I would just slow down, enter into prayer, and just try to surrender to the Lord. And so that's something that I will always remember. And where now, fast forward, and where I'm at now in life, like, I know that there's no other way other than like the grace of God. And how I see things now, like there are no ordinary moments. Everything I believe is playing out and happening for for a reason. And it's happening in its perfect timing, because, that's, who I believe in, I surrender to. So I always had my faith. But when I lost my mom, became a single dad, going through some very, very tough times, trying to navigate parenting as a single father. Thankfully, it's funny, I think it could either go in one or two directions. It could have just been like, to heck with faith, and, why would God do this? I'm going to go in the opposite direction. Thankfully, it deepened. And I think, like anything else, like, our muscles need to be challenged during those tough seasons, like absolutely brutal times. And it's funny, like, I'm thankful. Well, it's funny because we don't always have to like the things that we're grateful for. And I could look back now, 5 years later, and say I'm thankful for those times, because challenges that I've come across since then have felt, and they don't even trigger me, if that makes sense. It's kind of like, okay, been here. That muscle, because of that time, has been strengthened, and it's like, let's keep going. And one of my favorite quotes is, work as though everything depended upon you, but pray as though everything depended upon God. And so during those tough times, I knew I wasn't going to get out of it by just not doing anything. I had to put in the work, but I believe in God's mercy and God's grace, and knowing that, like, if I took one step, He would take two. And so I think just going to Him in prayer, and surrendering, and having more of that sense of peace during those tough times really just deepened the faith in a beautiful way. Yeah, no, I mean, I always had the faith because I was brought up. My parents did a wonderful job bringing me up in the Catholic Church. I'm Catholic, and they set a wonderful example through their raising of the family, through their marriage. And so always was just brought up in it. And then when I went to college, I think that's when I stayed disciplined in terms of spiritually, attending the Mass, attending church. But like, when I went through the challenging times, the difficult times, like, that faith then became real, and it became my own in a way that only I could develop it and really have that personal, intimate relationship with the Lord. But it's all, I can't sit here and say, like, oh, that's where it would be if I didn't have it from the very beginning. Find community. What advice would you give to someone who's going through tough times, has a ton of adversity, and they just want to move forward? First thing is find community. You can't do this alone. Like, it's, especially as guys, we think we could overcome it, we could be tough, but the reality is we need other folks to speak into us, to encourage us, to edify us. And if you're blessed to have family, go to your family. Not everyone has that. And so, like, find friends, find a local church, find something that you can become a part of. Go to pickleball. That's the beautiful thing about pickleball these days. It's so inclusive. It brings people of all walks of life together, to make you feel seen, heard, and it provides such wonderful health benefits beyond just physically. The mental, the feeling of belonging, connection. So I wish pickleball was a thing, really a thing when I was going through my tough times, because, I come from a tennis background and I love tennis and it'll always be a part of my life. But that's where pickleball is so much more special than even tennis, is because of the community, the camaraderie, and the sense of connection. Hey guys, thank you guys for tuning in and watching. Any questions you have, let me know below in the comments, and I can't wait to journey along with each and every one of you.